Bunny, settle down. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Tristan. Welcome to the Late Late Show. I'm creating this video. This is actually a request from my friends. They would like to know what are the kind of knives that I carry on an everyday basis. Until 2011, EDC is not actually a popular term in the technical world, as I would say it. And basically, EDC stands for everyday carry. But of course, there are some of us who buy knives just for the heck of it, and you don't really get to carry it simply because you have to comply with the laws applied to your, well, of course, whatever place you have or whatever place you are in. For example, in the States, it depends on the state where you in. For example, here in Asia, it depends on what country are you in. But of course, here in the Philippines, legally your knife should be at least below 4 inches and has to be folding in order for you to be able to carry it with you. But of course, there are some establishments that will not allow it, especially airports, and then of course train stations. And of course, some malls will not allow you to bring your knife in. But of course, in an everyday carry, it is advisable because you'll never know when you're gonna need a knife. So today I'll be sharing with you some of the knives that I own, and unfortunately I had to let go some of the knives that, of course, pre-loved, but I already I already felt that this is a knife that I won't be using anymore, and of course you're gonna have to forgive me why I'm dressed up in full kit. Later on, I would be, of course, sharing with you the reason why I am presenting the knives that I own wearing this kit as of course, the rationality behind it. Now, to begin with, I would like to start with the straight blades, and then maybe we'll go to the curved ones, and then of course the foldings, the difference between foldings and fixed blades, and what are the purposes, and what are the things that you could do with it. And then of course, I am not a knife expert. I'm not an edge weapon specialist. I'm not an impact weapon specialist. I couldn't even really consider myself as a guru of all these things. It's just that I'm an enthusiast of knives. I'm a gun enthusiast, and I always felt that knives and guns are my second love. Of course, drums will always comes first. Okay, so to start with, I actually have a lineup of knives that I own here on the table. I'm sorry that I will not be able to, point the camera on my table, but of course I'll present the knives to you. So to begin with, this is actually a mini knife that you could buy online. This is a letter opener. This will not be considered a deadly weapon simply because it's not sharp enough, but it's sharp enough. It's not sharp enough for you to slice the skin, but it's sharp enough to open a letter and of course packages. And this is something that you could just mount on your molly. That's actually the reason why I'm wearing my vest, because I would like to show you how some of the things that I own can be applied to my carrier. Yeah. Okay, so to begin with, like I said, this is a very very mini knife that you could buy online. Okay, and then to follow with that, this is actually one of the oldest EDC knife that I have. This is really a replica of the Swiss knife or Victorinox knives. Basically, it has scissors, it has cork, openers and things like that. These are basically one of the oldest designs that you could find. You can ask your grandfather or your uncles if they own one of these things, and I'm sure if they're a real man, they would, like I said, to the ladies, if your boyfriend doesn't own knives or either guns, you got yourself a girlfriend. Okay, now, of course, what else? Okay, now for I hate fish. I'm not really a fan of fish. Certainly not. But for some reason, I like the color of this particular item. I saw this online. I thought it was small enough for me to make a neck knife out of it. But when it came to me, I said, man, this is huge. And then when I learned the purpose of this, it's actually a descaler of fish. If you like cooking fish, this is actually an item that my friend Herbert would love because he likes grilling fish. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So it It has a Kydex insert. Man, I'm messing up on this one. Okay, yeah, this is something you could also mount to your vest. You know, I recently mounted this, but of course I couldn't really find a reason why I should carry this, even when I'm, you know, on the range, and of course doing milsim with airsoft, my airsoft guys. I don't know. I just couldn't find a sense of mounting it in my kit. Now, let's see. Oh yeah, I have this. This is actually a Hillwood knife. It's a folding. It has a clip. This is ideal for cars. Why? Because it's equipped, of course, with a glass breaker. For example, if you know, God forbid, you are in a car accident, you will be able to just, you know, use this, or you know, like this one, you could just smash the window that, you know, if you can't really get out of it. And of course, it has a seat belt cutter. You could just, you know, use this to cut on your seat belt without even deploying the knife. But of course, if you really need the knife, you could just, you know, yeah. See that? That's a decent blade. You know, of course, these, you know, the blades that I'm showing you today, they're not relatively cheap, but of course, they're also not expensive. This is actually what you can call the happy middle blades. Okay, and then of course, let's see. Okay, let's move on to someone who, you know, gave me this. This is actually, how do you see? Oh, there you go. It's a Burr Grill knife. This is something that, you know, we could really be useful in outdoors. You could just, you know, peel potatoes on it, cooking. Yeah. And I actually put a little paracord on it so I don't really, you know, lose it. It has a solid grip, rubberized. It's easy for you to grip, and you know, it's very, very sturdy. Yeah. Okay. And for you to fold this, you're gonna have to push here and then tuck it away like that. Okay, now another one that I have. Let's see. Okay, another multi-tool. This is for if you're a fan of Leatherman multi-tool and a Gerber, but you're on the budget. Check this out. This is actually a next tool. It's a replica of the Leatherman Wave. So this is a multi-tool, like I said, but I really like the idea of having pliers on a multi-tool. And another thing that I really like about this is the scissors that comes with it. Normally, when you look at the multi-tool, the scissors are, you know, relatively small. Look at the size of this one. Yeah. Now, of course, we are focusing on knives. So it has a decent knife that's, you know, built in this one. See that? Seriously. And all you have to do is push one of the linear locks there. You can tuck it away. This is actually legal. And then, of course, I would like to show you something. I'm actually, a while ago, I was wearing 2 gloves, and then I'm wearing 1. But so it's gonna be easier for me to manipulate the knife that I'm showing you today. This is one of the oldest ones that I have. This is actually a very memorable knife for me. There was one time that I was in Baguio. I was eating in the, if my memory serves me right, Cafe by the Ruins. I tested one of their horse tapa, as they call it, but of course the knife that they have is not sharp enough for me to cut to the meat, so I deployed this. Of course, I washed it first before I used it in cutting my steak, but this is a very useful knife. It's spring assisted. It has a clip, and of course has a glass breaker like the other one that I have, and it has a serrated edge. You see that? Yep. Here we go. Okay, moving on. I also have one of the things that I like about this, I actually created this paracord bracelet, but what's very interesting about it's not really the bracelet, it's actually the buckle. The buckle, yeah, it's an Autobot symbol for those of you who are fans of Transformers. But of course, the thing about this, it's actually a hidden mini knife. All you have to do is just unclip it, reverse it like that. Of course, because of the paracord bracelet that I built around it, it's quite, you know, an effort for you to just, oh man, to just stir it in. It's gonna take real effort, but you know, normally what would you want to do is built a paracord bracelet that wouldn't be as big as this one that I, you know, made. It's just that I had, you know, I don't know, too much ego. But anyways, here, so you could build it like this. You could use it like that, gripping it in this particular configuration, or you could, you know, use this as a knuckle. And okay, like I said, you know, I'm not a fan of violence, but the thing is, the reason why I have this is number one for a collection, and of course, it wouldn't hurt you if you are knowledgeable in weapons manipulation. Remember, one of the sad things that would happen to a man is nobody would think that you're dangerous. You know, having that skill set that will be able for you to defend yourself and defend your loved ones is very, very important. We live in a real world, and you know, ideally, violence should not exist. But the thing is, it's one thing for you to pick a fight. It's one thing for you to defend yourself. And whenever I get to ask, when people ask me this question, I get to answer it. They would always ask me, Tristan, can you teach me how to fight? And I always say, I can't. I'm not really a qualified teacher. But the thing is, I'm not even a fighter. But I know enough to defend myself, and I always see to it that I win. Okay, moving on. Okay, yeah, I have this. This is a replica of the CKRT or CRKT, whatever. This is a karambit. A karambit is actually like a bear claw. Karambit style blades are famous in Indonesia, Malaysia. And basically, it's a Southeast Asian thing. And one of the things that I like about this karambit, it has a clip that you can just put in your pocket. But the most unique feature of this is you can deploy this with one hand, like that. You could use the ring feature as an impact weapon. Yeah. But of course, the blade is serious. But this is something I would not carry every day, simply because the material, like I said, this is a knockoff. So I don't trust the material of this to be that durable. But if you're a collector like me, it's a fine piece, and the price wouldn't break the bank. Okay, moving on. Let me just okay, yeah. One of the now this is an everyday carry. This is actually a neck knife. This is something that you would just put around your neck, and this is not something that you want to fight with. But the thing is, when push goes to shoves, when you are put in a situation where you have to defend yourself, this is something that you can just tuck on inside your shirt. It doesn't impede. It's very, very thin, and you could just, you know, pull this. This is actually a decent blade. It's made by Harley Davidson. I just put the paracord around it for better grip. But this is enough for you to fend over your attackers, so you can wound them enough and for you to run and go away. Remember, we don't live in Hollywood action movies. You know, if you're up against multiple attackers, this is a chance that you won't win. But the thing is, you need to be able to educate yourself to avoid danger. Of course, when you are armed, you never put yourself in that situation. If you can avoid danger, do it. Okay, now, what else? Okay, let's go to my other folding karambit. This is actually a gift to me. Before it has a deployer here, I just had to use my grinder and modify it, because at that time I didn't have a karambit that has a wave feature, so I had to create one for myself. Now this has a little weight on it, and it could also be used as an impact tool, you know. And there's something that you could just use the ring feature, and of course you could flail, as what Dogma Kaido would, you know, say. You just put your finger right here, you hit someone with this on this configuration, it's gonna cause some damage. But when push goes to shoves, you could just, you know, use the wave feature. Let me just, no, sorry about that. You just wave the wave feature. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not a knife expert. I'm not really a weapon specialist expert. Normally, I would use any part of my shirt to deploy this. You know, not this one. It's my vest, but it's easy to deploy like that. Okay, moving on. Okay, now this is the Dark Knife. The Dark Knife is actually manufactured by Fox. It's designed by Doug Mercaida. What's the difference about it? It has a ring feature of the karambit, and you could also use this as an impact weapon, you know. And yeah, it also has a wave feature. Like I said, you can have this deployed, and then you got a straight blade. Now the difference between this blade and this blade, look at the difference. This is a curved blade, so in order for you to make a thrust, you're gonna have to have that, you know, position on your arm. Unlike with this one, it's a straight thrust. You could also use it like this, you know, you could slash thrust. It's a good blade. This is, you know, if you would be buying a blade like this, I would suggest for you to get a trainer first. They also have the trainer of this, doesn't have an edge, but it has the same feature of the whole knife, so you can avoid accidents, because accidents do happen. Okay, we're about to, you know, we're nearing the end. So this is something I modified. I bought this two separate blades online, but this is something that I tucked behind my back on my belt. Now, of course, you can, the reason I put a paracord on this one is because I pull it like this, and this is a sawed blade. So basically, this blade is used for thrusting. This is not something that you use for cutting or knife, or you could tell the authorities that, oh, I use this for, you know, cooking. It wouldn't fly. This blade is a self-defense weapon. But the thing is, if you're caught having this on your person on the wrong place, I'm telling you right now, it's you go to jail. Period. Now, the opposite of this one is actually one of the newest blades that I have. This is basically, it's too small for my hand, but one of the good thing about this is a blade that's designed not to kill, but of course, but just, you know, self-defense weapon, enough for you to get away. Remember, I'm not really pro to violence. It's just that we live in a real world, and when I was young, I was a victim of violence, and I promised myself that I will never be a victim again. And one of the reasons why I learned martial arts and I took tactical training, simply because I don't want to be a victim again. And going back to this one, this is something that you could deploy, something that you will not hesitate to use against your attacker. You could use as a closed fist. Man, this is something that you could just have this on your person. But of course, if you get caught with these knives, go to jail. Okay, another thing that I have, one of the biggest things that I own, I actually bought this on a local hardware. It's a very cheap blade. It's I don't know if this is a bolo or machete, but you know, it's you know, awesome. Let me show you. Here we go. See that? Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm not a knife expert, but you know, it's a decent blade. I actually bought two of these. I gave one to my friend Jeffrey. He's gonna use it for cooking. I don't know how he's gonna get away with it, but for me, I just, you know, have this as a collection. I have no intent to strike this on hard surfaces like wood. I recently got engaged with an in one forum, when I showed this blade, and people who are, you know, well enough to own expensive blades are criticizing this, and they would tell me that it's gonna break, it's gonna break. But the thing is, it's not gonna break if you're gonna use it wisely. Like if, for example, this is a blade and use it as a hammer, what do you expect? It's gonna go dull, right? Oh, before I forget, I have one of the blades that I mounted in one of my battle belts. This is actually a Smith and Wesson. It's on my battle belt basically. Um, this is also a curved blade. There's a ring feature, but this is designed for thrusting. I put a paracord on it because this is actually short and I have big hands. Yeah, I can't even remember, why I got this, but it's a good thing that I have it. Okay, there you go. Um, Before I end this video, I'm gonna, it really took a bit long for us to discuss this. But of course, like I said, if you decide to get into weapons manipulation, like impact weapons or blade weapons, I would suggest for you to seek proper training from professionals. Locally, we have Maestro Frederick Beleno. He also sells knives, and of course, I would be putting the link of his Facebook page on my wall along with this video. And of course, I have another friend. His name is CZ Villanueva. He also sells these blades. Of course, the stores right now are closed, so I would suggest for you to just order online. But going back to my final point, before you get into the habit of training with knives, I would suggest for you to have a trainer like this one. This is a rubber knife that I use of course, for Milsim games. But in between Milsim games, I use this for training. It's not dangerous, although it looks like a black blade with a serrated edge, but it's actually made of rubber, and I can prove it. Right? So, this is actually something that you could use for training, for basically you train in how you would expect for you to fight. Okay, this is actually a good blade to have. And oh, before I forget, of course, given my size, you could say that I love to eat, and because I love to eat, I love to cook. And this is actually my personal knife that I use for cooking, for chopping. It's good. So yeah, basically that's it. Thank you for watching. I'll be expecting everyone for you to comment whatever you think that you would like for me to discuss. And then of course, if there's a topic that you would like me to cover or research on, so I could share it with you, please do put it on the comments below. And again, I don't do this for a living. This is not my bread and butter. I actually have a real job. So, but of course, it will not hurt if you click the like button if you like this kind of content. If you want me to continue on, I would suggest for you to just leave a comment below. And of course, as always, keep safe, and then stay indoors. If you don't have anything to do, that's very, very important for you to go out. Don't go out. And basically, I would like to give a shout out to Frederick Beleno for Zizi Villanueva, and of course, one of my friend who normally sponsors my videos. It's Jojo King of King's Tactical. And maybe in the coming days, I will be making a video on my rig. Yep. So, to answer the question that was thrown at me, Tristan, you're a pastor. Why are you a gun enthusiast? Why are you a knife enthusiast? And I always give the same answer. Guys, it wouldn't hurt for you to learn how to defend yourself. Of course, it appears that when you're participating in war games, you're glorifying war. Yeah, in some reasons, I could say I could agree with that. I would not dismiss that opinion. But the thing is, it's better for you to have these things and not need it than for you to need these things and not have it. Okay, so again, my name is Tristan, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.